Hello, welcome to the Afrocentric Woman. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Thank you to all the subscribers that have been rocking with me for a little while. I'm not going to hold you long on the line, but I wanted to come on here and talk about the compartmentalization of people in your life and how this is an important skill and habit that you need to develop and maintain. And what I mean by compartmentalizing people is knowing what people are in your life for particular reasons, knowing what you can get from certain people, and knowing what you have to give to certain people, and how much you're willing to give to certain people, and how long you're willing to give it to certain people. This is a very important skill. Um, as Black women tend to have this uh, archetype or personality trait of keeping it real with everybody all the time, across the board. And this leaves you very vulnerable and open to just a lot of setbacks and unnecessary trauma and drama that you can totally avoid by being strategic and playing chess about how you form and nurture relationships with different people. Now, for those who are on the level up journey, um, this is vitally important because as you level up, obviously, inherently, you're elevating yourself, and so everybody is not going to go with you. Everybody's not going to go with you. Not everybody's going to be elevating to the point where you even have enough in common to even maintain any type of relationship, and that's just something that you have to accept and know. One thing that you'll hear on a lot of these level up forums over and over and over again since the dawn of millennium, the same question reiterated in a multitude of manners. It's like, oh, my friend is dating a Dusty, and her Dusty did this, and her Dusty did that, and I'm trying to tell her about level up dating, and she's just not interested. She just keeps, fraternizing with these Dusties, or my auntie, mama, granny, sister friend, whoever is hating on me because I'm leveled up now and I wear a designer bag and I dress up every day even if I'm going to the grocery store and they say I'm doing too much. Some variation of that exact same question comes up almost every time, almost every day. And at the end of the day, it's the same answer. Focus on your own level up. Okay, obviously, if your eye is on someone else's prize, you're not going to reach the area that you are going to get, that you want to go to. And what I tell like my private and within my private business, the clients and customers that I work with, as well as personal contacts as well, I ask them like, well, what do you want from this person? What do you want at the end of the day? And what don't you want? And do they even know that that's not what you want? Because women in general have a bad habit of keeping their mouth closed and allowing people to irritate them and disrespect them or go talk about topics that they're not comfortable with. And they will grimace and grunt and they'll gossip to other people about how irritated they are, or they'll, vent and verbally vomit on someone else about the problem, but they'll never actually tell the person, hey, I don't want to talk about this with you. So it's on you. It's your responsibility to communicate your boundaries with people. And if you're not, have the confidence enough to communicate your boundaries with people, you have to start somewhere and you have to start getting yourself strong enough to communicate those boundaries. A lot of times when I talk to Black women, they think it's disrespectful. Oh, I can't tell my mom that I don't want her parenting advice because I don't want to be seen as disrespectful. I don't want to tell my mother-in-law that I don't like when she criticizes my cooking because I don't want to come off as being disrespectful. Or I don't want to tell these people, that I don't want them to wear shoes in my house because I don't want to come off disrespectful. Listen, if you keep sacrificing yourself and the things that you want and you desire and the things that make you comfortable, at some point, it's not even the other person's fault. It becomes your fault at some point because it's your responsibility to communicate your boundaries. Hey, mom, don't give me any parenting advice. I'm good on parenting advice. If I have any questions, I'll ask you. I don't want to talk about this. In fact, I'm not going to talk to you about this. Mother-in-law, if you don't like my cooking, please bring a plate, order out, do whatever you want, but don't criticize my cooking. If you criticize my cooking again, you won't receive another invitation over here. And that's not disrespectful. See, the thing about the disrespect is that because you don't communicate your boundaries in a healthy manner, it bubbles up. You get so irritated and you suppress everything that you have to say until you explode in a very sort of like uncontrolled, emotionally charged, ratchet manner, instead of you calmly and collectively communicating your boundaries. Communicating your boundaries doesn't have to be a loud, ratchet shouting match or anything like that. It can be as a matter of fact as what I just said. This is the boundary, and open up your mouth and communicate it to people. You have to teach people how to handle you. You have to teach people how to behave in your life. You have set up this, queendom or space or sacred space or whatever it is that you got going on. Your car, your home, your workstation, your cubicle, whatever space that you have dominion over. And when someone comes into that space, you have to show them and guide them how they need to behave in that space that you are in control of, obviously. Your home, your car, your workspace, your cubicle, your office, your personal space around you. That's when someone wants to enter into that space, you have to teach them exactly how you want them to behave. And if they fully understand what you have requested and what you're requesting is absolutely reasonable, and then they choose to violate it over and over again, or if they choose, hey, you can even give them a consequence on the first time. Even your phone is also your space. Someone's going to be calling you or texting you or sending you information. You need to show them, guide them, teach them how they need to behave in that space. Like, I don't take calls past this time. I don't want these memes. I don't like this type of content or whatever. And if people violate what you have requested and what you have requested is reasonable, then it's up to you to figure out how you're going to compartmentalize those people in your life. It's up to you to figure out cutting off communication, altering communication, limiting communication, whatever the case may be. You have to figure out how you are going to maintain your safe space for yourself. Okay? Now, when it comes to what you can get from certain people, I'll tell you, I have some friends who are pick-me's, okay? I went to high school with them. One of them I lived next door to when I was like, I've known her since I was a baby, literally. I've known her all my life. She's a pick-me. I have lots of pick-me friends from childhood, okay? Some of them I'm still friends with, and they think I'm crazy. Uh, They think that my leveled up dating is borderline prostitution. You know what? It's fine. I really don't care because at the end of the day, I feel comfortable and confident with what I'm doing. I like my life. I have reaped so many benefits since I changed my mindset. I don't care if people think, like, if you call me a whore, a prostitute, a slut, or whatever, I don't know. I feel no ways about it. I really don't care because I know who I am, right? So I don't seek outside validation from other people. These people get up underneath your skin, people's opinions and limitations and things of that nature. Get under your skin when you're seeking validation from other people, when you need them to tell you who you are. You need them to show you who you are. You need them to confirm and affirm who you are. And you already know who you are, right? So you don't need that from people who are operating in pick meism and struggle love and struggle bandits and dusties and 50-50 and pay his bills and Chick-fil-A dates and you know what I'm saying? Like, why would you take advice from someone who goes on a date to Chipotle? Why would you take advice from someone who does Netflix and chill? And he can't even afford Netflix. He's over there watching her Netflix and eating up her kids' snacks. So in other words, always consider the source. Okay? So anyway, with the pick me friends, I had tried to encourage, especially the two really dark skinned women of our friends group, who have had a history of trauma with BMs and always feel kind of like they know that there's colorism. They know that they're treated the two dark girls of our friend group, they know that they're treated differently within the friend group. They know that. They acknowledge that and they can articulate that. But what they're unwilling to do is link the fact that you are limiting yourself to this pool of people, and this is why you keep getting the same you keep getting the same issue over and over again. And when I'm telling them, hey, if you go to this way or that direction, your dark skin will actually be celebrated. And one of them, who's super dark skinned, has these like ultra high pronounced cheekbones, beautiful, like she's so gorgeous, right? She's just and her mom, like she looks like her mom. They're both gorgeous. Her mom's like 60 something and she's still bad. And but she's always in some type of struggle of. And with those and I told her, girl, with those cheekbones, you don't need to be struggling. Why? It makes no sense. But anywho, what I concluded was that they are perfectly satisfied with their life and they like their dusties. I think there's an addiction to the drama, and that is what they want. They view me as crazy, and it is what it is. And I will never convince them, possibly never convince them of otherwise. So, listen, relationships and dating at this point go off the table. Okay, I'm not talking to them about it at all. I don't want to know about what you're doing. I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing. I have in my mind certain topics that I feel comfortable talking with them about. Oh, how are the kids doing? Oh, da 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 da. How is work? Woo woo woo. How's your mama? Do da da da. How's your family? Okay, I have certain topics that I'm willing to talk to them about. That is the parameters by which I interact with them. And that's just it. That's all. If they ever start talking about the Dusties, I just tune out. I might get on my phone, start scrolling Instagram, walk away. Like I'll just totally disengage because I'm not being involved with the struggle love sagas. And I'm not going to tell you about, oh, I went shopping last weekend, or oh, my man took me to da 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 da, or I went on five-star restaurant. Oh, I went out of town. I'm just going to keep all that to myself because why? You're not even going to be happy for me. You think I'm a whore? I don't know. So why don't I just keep my level up to myself and you keep your struggle up to yourself and let's talk about topics that um, are neutral, you know, topics that are not contentious. Let's stay there. And so that has worked for me. There are other people that are in different compartments, right? There's different people for different things. I talk to this person about this. Okay, I talk to that person about PTA stuff. I talk to this person about da 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 da. You have to kind of put people in categories and you can't necessarily bring your whole self to every single relationship. There will honestly probably be very few relationships. Like I can think of maybe I probably have 3 or less relationships whereby I feel the most myself, like, I feel the most this person sees me, hears me, understands me, knows me on a deep level. Like, those relationships, you won't have a ton of them. They are extremely high quality, rare, and don't come around every day, okay? Hold on to those relationships, cherish those relationships because you're not going to necessarily be that way with everybody. But that isn't to say that you have to rank relationships based on what you can disclose or bare your soul or whatever the case may be. You can bare your soul to your journal, to your therapist, to your religious leader, whatever. You don't have to do that with every single person that you meet or is in your life. Every single person that is in your life isn't entitled to stay. Every person that's in your life is not entitled to stay. And that even blood ties, even blood family, even there's no obligation. You don't have any obligation to maintain any relationship that is not beneficial to you, that is not nourishing to you. Okay, the only obligation that you have is if you have a child and you choose to raise your child, you are morally, spiritually obligated to get that child from infancy and into adulthood as best you can. And then from there, you're free. Okay. From there, you're free. Even after they're an adult, you're free. After that, you're really not obligated. If you do anything for them, it's really because that's what you want to do, not because that's what you have to do. You understand? So really that's the only any other relationship configuration it's all of free will. So you have to release the chains in your own mind. You have to release the guilt and the obligation and all of that to uh you have to release that in order to let people go. And again, it's almost like just shedding and growing. It's not even a charged, negative, bad, telling people off and storming out the room and making a big scene. It doesn't have to be like that. Usually, it doesn't have to be like that. You can just quietly creep away or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have 2 friends who I've kind of let go, known them since high school. And, I just had to understand that even with my compartmentalization with them, it wasn't working because we don't even have, there's really just, there's just not enough there. One of them has a struggle bandit that is literally leveling up off of her. She was working 2 jobs and she's married. I'll be damned if I ever work 2 jobs and be married. I will barely work one, okay? I will barely work one job if I'm married, and probably not even that. But she's working 2 jobs, busting her ass, and this guy's leveling up on her, and I've seen him on all kinds of dating apps cheating on her. Okay, so that's that. And then the other one, baby daddy in and out of jail, and I'm just like, where are we gonna go? The places I like to go, you don't like to go. What are we gonna talk about? I don't deal with people in jail. I don't know anything about that. This is what you want to do. This is where you want to live. This is how you want to live your life. You're unreliable. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, well, the kids, they're the same age. Let the kids, stay in each other's lives and, I'll deal with the mom. But, you're not even reliable enough to maintain the relationship with the children. So at this point, you just have to ask yourself, what is the value here? Yeah, I've known you since the 3rd grade, but still, what is the value here? And what liabilities am I opening myself up to by being around you with the drama that surrounds you? It's not worth me jeopardizing myself to be around you because this is what you want, this is what you choose. You like dusties, in and out of jail, and I don't deal with any of that. So at some point, it would really reflect back on me with who am I choosing to spend my time with? Like, I love the years that we spent together. We had some great times. We da da da. We graduated together. We went off to college to separate places. We came home and visited. We shared our first car, our first prom, homecoming. Okay, great. You know what? I will cherish those memories, but I don't necessarily need to make any new ones with you. I'll always hold those memories near and dear to my heart, but I don't need to make any new memories with you because the memories that I'm trying to make are not the memories that you're trying to make. Okay? Okay. So that's that. You have to kind of figure out what pots, or what type of categories you are going to put people in. And sometimes the category is no contact. That is a category as well. And then stick to the topic. I also did this with my own mother. Okay. We have certain things we'll talk about, certain things I will not talk about, you know? And the thing about her is that I have been working on this since I was 26. So, yes, I've come a very long way with her. Very long way with, an overbearing baby boomer mom. But when I talk to other women who have not started the process of putting boundaries on their mothers are running a muck in their life, literally, because they have not guided them and showed them how you want to be treated as an adult woman, how you want them to relate to you as an adult woman. And so then there's all this drama and da da da, da, and it's unnecessary. I'm not saying it's an easy process, depending on how functional or dysfunctional your mother might be. It's going to look different for everybody, but it's not necessarily easy, but it's necessary. It's necessary. And if there's enough goodness and enough, like, your mom has some type of internal motivation to want to interact with you in a healthy way, then they will make some concessions and they will adapt and they will figure out how they want to, interact with you. And then they will be able to tell you, hopefully in not too, chaotic of a manner, that this is what they need from you. And then you can kind of make your concessions on your end as well and see how the relationship will evolve. But as I have discussed in other videos, that relationship with your mother is very important to stabilize or, you know, practice those boundaries, get those boundaries going. Because if you have porous boundaries with one person, it's really hard to implement the boundaries across the board. So if you enter into the dating world or you're in the dating world and you are implementing boundaries, I'm willing to do this, I'm not willing to do this, is how I want to be, treated. But somewhere within yourself, you know that you're letting one other person run amok in your life, call you all times of the night, drop over to your house, stay longer than what you want them to stay, put their feet on your coffee table, eat up your snacks, or whatever you're letting them do. It's energetically, you are not in alignment with really, really honoring your boundaries. And if you don't honor your boundaries across the board, they are porous and you leave room for entering into other relationships, especially those around dating, whereby your boundaries are not respected, or you don't have the wherewithal to communicate your boundaries and enforce them. There should be consequences to boundary violations. And sometimes that is no contact. Um, and just on the topic of boundaries, there's things that you can put in place environmentally that will help support your boundaries. Things like putting your phone on do not disturb. There's There's things that you could do to like set up when your phone will ring and when it won't ring, when it'll go straight to voicemail. You can send certain people just straight to voicemail. You can you can set that certain people think your number is out of service. Don't respond to emails, like especially for work ladies. Don't respond to emails at 12 o'clock at night because people will come to expect that from you. Don't work on projects over the weekend when you should be going to get your nails done, going out, going, wherever, going out of town. Don't sit at home working on a project that you're not getting paid for because people will come to expect that. Black women teach people how to treat them. And, on my with my business and when I'm consulting with women and, most of them, well, I think we were raised as Black girls to do more than our share. Always. Do more than your share because it's almost like there's a taught inherent deficit. Like we are not enough as we are, right? You're coming at a deficit. You are not as complete as this person or that person. And so while they have to do one assignment, you need to do five for the same price. Okay, you need to mark your services below market rate, and then this person is going to mark their services above. You have to go above and beyond. And so that's a learned behavior that kind of has to be untaught. You have to unteach yourself that mentality because it's detrimental to your health and your mental well-being. It messes with your self-worth. It encroaches upon your self-care time. And you know if you give people an inch, they just take and take and take and take and take and take, and they just become to expect it. Like, so at this point, what is the point of giving you a raise? Like, what is the point of giving you a raise because you're already doing the work at a senior level for a junior payment? So what is the company's incentive to give you a raise? What is their incentive? You're already doing all this extra work. What is the point? And so I'm not saying be a sloth and be lazy, but what I'm saying is give people what they pay for, okay? And wow them with what they paid for so that they can be tantalized to pay you more to get more, okay? Hope you hear what I'm saying. Um, it's not about being a workhorse and staying up late and staying extra hours and getting there early and leaving late. It's not really always about that. But what it's really about is getting in tune with your intrinsic value, getting in tune with like your unique value proposition, those soft skills or like a high level skill that you have, and adding a lot of value, right? Saving the company money, earning more money, or nurturing relationships that make sense, something that's very intrinsic that you can bring to the table and do it extremely well within the time frame that they paid for, so that if they want more from you, or if they want you to move into leadership, or if they want you to move into training or mentoring someone else, okay, you need to start negotiating all of that stuff. They want you to mentor, that's a new job. Okay, so you need to be getting some perks out of that, some more money out of that, some more vacation time, something. But you need to trade your skills and your contributions for tangible resources that will help you. Not a pat on the back, not a thumbs up, not a high five. No, we cannot pay our rent with a high five. We cannot pay our rent with a handshake or a thumbs up. We need resources for that. Okay. So I'm saying all of that to say you teach people how to treat you. And so one of those environmental boundaries that you can implement is to not answer emails late at night, not be getting on conference calls on the weekend or after hours because such and such and such and such always, they're late on their whatever. That doesn't have anything to do with you. Um, One thing that you could do is, even if you like to work at night, which this is something that I do now, if you have like a Gmail business account, Even if you are working late at night getting work done, you can schedule your emails to go out in the morning. Okay. So it looks like you are working in the morning during business hours. You can also do that with text messaging on most phones. I know with Android, I don't know about iPhones, but you can schedule text messages. Um, that way you can work whatever time you want, but that person is going to get the communication from you at a time that you like to communicate so that they're not going to think like, oh, she's always up at 3 a.m. I'm going to just send her some messages and expect a response right away. Um, if you work for yourself and you have clients, unless you are, on call 24/7, you need to have business hours. That's going to be an environmental boundary that you put up so that you teach people how to interact with you. When you're teaching people how to interact with you, at the base level, you need to know what are your needs. Okay? What do you need? How do you want this to go? What is the best case scenario for you? What is an ideal situation for you? This relationship, this da 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 da. What is ideal? You need to kind of have somewhere that you're aiming towards because otherwise, you know, you just end up like getting upset over and over and over again. And some of it can just methodically be prevented. Like if you just work your way backwards and figure out what do I want? How do I want this to go? What is ideal? What do I need? What do I have to give? You have to be able to answer all those questions for yourself and know them, feel confident with them. So that way you can communicate them and create that and categorize people accordingly and have all your boundaries in place. This will improve your life, I promise. Um, Mocha Mommy says, yay, a conversation about boundaries. Yes, typically at this time of year brings lots of people together. Also, the monsters come out from under the bed. Just be alert as the holidays. Yeah, you bring up a really great point. Yeah, these boundaries will be very important as you come together for different, events and stuff like that, holiday gatherings, traveling, whatever the case may be. So definitely think about those things, especially like if it comes to like hosting people. You know, do you want to do that? Do you not want to do that? How do how you want this to go? If you know such and such has badass kids that tear up your stuff, you might just have to be like, well, y'all might have to get a hotel. Like I can't host you here. you know. Um, is that going to be inconvenient for them? Maybe, but will it be more inconvenient for you to have your stuff broken? So put yourself first in that situation. And think about any other situation similar to that. Um, put boundaries around your budget. How much do you have to spend on food? How much do you have to spend on decor? How much do you have to spend on gifts? And if the amount is very little, that's okay. It is what it is. The boundary is what it is, and the budget will be the boundary. But think about those things so that you don't feel like, oh, well, I just have to give this thing because I have to. I've done it the last 5 years. You can stop and change direction and pivot at any moment. You can. You have the authority in your life to do that at any moment. If you're doing something that feels great and it works in this moment, and then you're in a new season in your life and it doesn't make sense, you can stop it. You're not obligated to keep doing something that is no longer working. So that's what I wanted to share with y'all. Y'all have a blessed day. We will talk soon. And like I said, thanks for liking and subscribing the channel. And we'll talk soon. Have a blessed day. Bye.